Welcome to the ASA podcast, where we focus on subcontractors, the construction industry, and the issues and people making an impact. The ASA podcast is brought to you by the American Subcontractors Association and the Foundation of the American Subcontractors Association. Hello again, everyone. I'm Mike Klein. I am the host of the ASA podcast. Welcome back to another episode. I'm here again today with Mike Oscar, and today's topic is building and maintaining relationships with industry partners. So Mike, welcome again.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, ASA has had a tradition of building long-standing relationships with various industry partners. Oftentimes our CEO, Richard Bright, refers to them as alliances. And those alliances have proven very effective for us, not only at the legislative level, but also at the regulatory level and at the political level. One of the groups that we have consistently maintained a strong relationship with is the Construction Industry Procurement Coalition, the CIPC, which is made of about 17 very similarly situated organizations dealing with architects and engineers, dealing with land surveyors, the AGC, the ABC, our union contractor affiliates, along with various other vendors that are estimators, the Design and Build Coalition, the roofers. So all of us come together to work on primarily legislation, but also on regulatory issues. Every year we try to do what we call an omnibus, which is basically a large piece of legislation that we break down dealing with very specific issues on prompt payment, contracting reform, dealing with retainage, mechanics lien, bid listing, anti-indemnification, etc. The other industry group we work with is the Construction Industry Safety Coalition. This one is critical because we work with them hand in glove, and that organization's larger because it covers a whole gamut of subcontractors and contractor affiliate organizations. And we work together under that umbrella to supply comments dealing with issues that are important to our subcontractor membership, specifically in dealing with OSHA, dealing with the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration within Department of Labor. One of the pending issues that just came out is the standard for heat injury and prevention. And there are comments in there that from the guidelines that we may not agree with. I've actually gotten some comments back from some of our members because I've been highlighting it in our ASA today. But we'll work with the CISC to put together industry guidelines. And we've been told indirectly from the agencies how helpful that is in terms of them having a better understanding of something that they may have written and thought that in a practical way that would work, but us giving them a practical application saying to them that they may not work has proven very, very effective. One of the other alliances we've had, and actually my predecessor served on the board, and then I've had the privilege of serving actually as the chair, and that is called the Small Business Legislative Council. What I'd like to call it, and actually Richard gave me the idea, our CEO, it's kind of like our Chamber of Commerce. It's a smaller group of about 36 different organizations that are heavy into small business issues that may be outside of the space of construction, but are going to impact directly construction subcontractors. What do I mean by that? Tax reform. How are we going to deal with the various deductions that are important to us if they're manipulated, or estate planning, or succession planning? As I often tell members of Congress, and I tell many members of our association, you are the economic engine for your local community. If you go out of business, there's going to have a direct impact. It's going to have a ripple effect to that community. So the Small Business Legislative Council helps me, and those members help me better understand some of the issues that I may not be fully aware of or may not have a direct understanding of, and then they could supply me that information. We utilize the Small Business Legislative Council's legal counsel on taxes at our last fly-in in June of this year. They came in and talked directly to us about some of the implications of the tax issues that are going to be paramount in 2025, because a lot of them are going to sunset. They were a part of the Jobs Tax Act that passed in 2017, but they have an 8-year horizon, and they're going to sunset in 2025. So we used the Small Business Legislative Council's Tax Council to come in and speak to our board, so that our board members then could go out and tell their individual chapters what's going on, and then that kind of primes the pump for me. So when I address these issues with the Government Relations Committee, I have direct information and good information to advise our membership. One of the longstanding relationships or alliances we've had is with the National Association of Surety Bond Producers, the NASBP. They're actually a financial sponsor of ASA as well. We work very closely with them because surety bonds are important to our members. Bonding requirements are critical for infrastructure projects. And even though the Miller Act was passed at the federal level back in the late 1900s, early in the 20th century, in the 1930s, that Miller Act is important, which basically says any infrastructure project that's 150,000 or more, you want to ensure that there are bonding requirements. And then from that relationship, we've also worked on legislation that I won't get into now, dealing with the bonding requirements for public-private partnerships. We've also worked with the Surety Fidelity Association of America, the SFAA, which is actually the insurance companies or bonding companies at a larger scale, help them with their work at the Department of Transportation, working on projects that deal with bonding requirements as well. So that's just a few of our alliances. I've also addressed the American Bar Association's Forum on Construction when it meets in Washington, D.C. on legal aspects of federal government contracting work. So we have a lot of different relationships, because I think it is truth. There is truth to the statement that it takes a village. It takes a coalition to get things done. Yes, sometimes you can go individually and get something done that's specific to your specialty trade. But in ASA, because we include all the specialty trades and we have so many different aspects, which I enjoy very much, and it's one of the reasons why I enjoy my work with ASA, is because we're dealing with so many different legislative and regulatory issues that those industry alliances are important. And then finally, when I mentioned the political aspect, we get requests a lot regarding fundraisers or helping out with campaigns for various members of Congress. And so having those industry partners give us a little background of why we should be supportive or not supportive of an individual member or on a specific issue that might be important to them. We use that relationship to get a better understanding, so I can take that message not only back to the board, but also the GRC committee, so they have as much information available to them. So when they render a decision, it's a sound decision.
Obviously it takes a village, right? I mean, it's like you said, that's really important. If anybody among the membership has an organization that they feel would be a good fit for one of these types of alliances, what should they do? Should they contact you, contact Richard?
Yeah, I would recommend that if it's at a government relations level, I can give a very specific example that when we're building up new chapters, like in Utah, like in Idaho, like in Florida, as well as building chapters that need a boost, so to speak, like in Louisiana, that have been around, but the Baton Rouge chapter is going through a revitalization. Allowing them to know, and I've worked with them from a government relations level and said, look, reach out to the local ABC because we might be in alignment with them. Reach out to the local chapter of the AGC. Reach out to the architects and engineers, because 9 times out of 10, you'll find in public policy that the architects and engineers are protected, but the subs aren't. So figuring out how they were able to get that protection in contracts that we're exposed to because we're not protected is a great way for us to do that. And I've had instances where at the state level, or even at the local level, they don't have the right contact. So I'm able to contact my counterpart at the national level and say, hey, Jordan over at AGC, can you hook me up with your guy down in Fort Myers, Florida? That might be helpful to, Lorraine down there running that chapter to move forward on an issue, or to build out her board, or to build out the activities of her chapter as they're continuing to grow. So those are some of the examples where I think that if they want to reach out to me directly, again, my information's on the website. If they want to reach out to the local chapter, executive director, I'd recommend that. And of course, if they do want to recommend Richard, that's fine too. But I think there's other ways they can do first before contacting Richard. And if they can't, then Richard will figure it out amongst our organization, who to best to work with.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you for that. Thank you again for all the information. These are great episodes, and I look forward to having you on again.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the ASA podcast. For more subcontractor-focused content, visit us at asaonline.com and fastcares.org. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.